This conference will now be recorded.
This is the Finance Committee of Council. Present are committee members Schuman, Broussard, and Kelly, along with council members Williamson, Glassburn, and Heeman. President Jones, the mayor, directors Gallo and Lieber, Assistant Law Director O'Malley. Good to see you, Brian. And guests. Dave Demeline is here too. How you doing, Dave? So we are here to discuss two pieces of legislation, 2021-54, which is a resolution dispensing with the formal RFP process and authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Sedgwick in order to provide for managed care services and administration of self-insured workers' compensation program and declaring an emergency. Director Gallo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is our claims administrator, and they provide claims administration for our self-insured workers' compensation program. They handle claims both medically and financially, and they also assist us with audits. We have previously had a one-year agreement. This will be a 3-year agreement. And this is our first rate increase we've seen since 2009. Previously, it was $25,350 annually. This time, it has increased. So in 2021, it will be $26,111. In 2022, it'll be $26,896. And in 2023, it will be $27,701 annually for the year. We like using this vendor because they are already familiar with our claims experience, our history, and that helps with the carryover from year after year. Also, if something is held up in claims with them, it also helps to still have them on if we have anything pending. This expired at the end of last year, but I didn't want to ask for suspension. I wanted to make sure I had a chance to have this go before committee. So I am requesting suspension on this because it is expired. There is an emergency clause so that if council chooses to pass it, it goes into effect immediately.
So how long have these guys been with us? Or we've been doing business with them, do you know?
Quite a while. They were formerly known as Integrated Consulting Services or CareWorks, and they were acquired by this company in 2019. So we've been with them since 2009, but they've changed hands over the years. They've been bought out, they've changed names, and so on. So we've been with them for 11 years.
Okay, so you're asking for suspension this evening?
Yes.
Correct, okay. Any questions from committee? Nope, any questions from council? Okay, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we recommend 2021-54 to the full council with suspension this evening. Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Next on the agenda is 2020, I'm sorry, Director Kopfer has joined us. I didn't mention you earlier, I apologize. 2021-58, which is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with iWork Systems for a work order management program for storm, streets, and wastewater treatment plant operations and declaring an emergency. Who's going to take care of this? Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In 2017, we purchased our first iWork module for $4,500 through a PO in service after demoing it for an extensive period of time and making sure it was what it was what we needed. Before that, we would do our work order tracking by email history and what was in the file. As of 2020, it was also used by systems and maintenance crews at wastewater treatment plant. The increase in the contract is to add forestry and stormwater crews and service and the upcoming implementation of the GIS system. We have combined all the modules into one contract because of the savings, but it's higher than the obviously appeal threshold, and that's why it's before you today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So I'm sorry, could you say that again? So you're gonna add forestry and,
Forestry and stormwater crews.
okay, and stormwater. So it's, so they're still doing it the old fashioned way?
Well, we did put in iWorks, the work we did this year in Brunton Ridge and Park Ridge. We just have to add them to the contract.
I see.
So we mapped everything out, you know, where all the catch basins are and all that good stuff as we went through everything. So part of it is making sure we have the maps, and with the GIS system, you'll be able to visual, you know, that's a visual history. So you could, in forestry, you could be taking a picture of a tree and know when that tree was planted.
Any questions from committee? Questions from council? Can you tell us what the cost of the new program is going to be?
Yeah, I think the total contract is 16.5,
Okay.
and it's a yearly contract.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we recommend 2020-158 to all the council and ask for a second. I'm sorry. Ms. Heeman, you have a question?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, there was circulated, you know, a memorandum or a series of questions by Council President Jones to the administration, and I don't recall, did we get the responses to those questions?
I know that Service has worked on their responses, and I think they've completed their responses. I'm not sure Finance with Munis has. So as soon as we have that, we'll get them to you.
So you think, Mr. Schuman, we should be moving this forward without all those responses? They were quite extensive, 13 items.
Were they
Just asking.
were these particular to the iWorks, or was that
Correct.
just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they were.
Okay. I can't say that I'm familiar with this list. I don't know where.
December 21st was the memo date, and I don't know if it came to us as all of council on by email on that date or, you know, a day or two later. I'm not sure of that.
Mr. Chairman, if we're happy to have, you know, we can have an hour meeting to talk about that at a different date, but we use iWorks, and iWorks works for the service department wastewater treatment plant. We really, it's not something we live without.
I understand
so
that.
We're more than happy to answer any questions that you have, and I'm sure Carrie's working on it.
You're not asking for suspension this evening.
We are asking for suspension because we currently don't have a contract for this year.
You're not asking.
He is asking for suspension, Mr. Schuman, and it's $16,000. Thank you. I just want to know that, to be sure that this is really, you know, moving forward or not without those 13 items answered. Thank you.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? You're not asking for suspension this evening, or you are?
We are asking for suspension.
Okay.
But only because we're not under contract right now. If you wanted to go to third reading, you could.
Okay, well, if we have this list of questions out there, maybe it would be good if we did get those answers before we voted on this. You have a problem with that? Do you want
to? I don't generally have a problem, other than, you know, this is something that we use, and we use every year. So,
Mr. Glassburn, you got a question or comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I just don't understand why, if this is a annual contract and it's a big important thing, why we're trying to pass this on suspension. If this is, I mean, did we not know this was coming up, or was there some change, or what are the consequences of us not passing this if we don't have a contract right now?
Mr. Mayor, you got a...
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could. Yeah, a lot of it was because of the extensive work we did on the GIS system, and that's something new. But I don't think they're going to all of a sudden stop what we're doing. I think you could probably pass it on third reading if it's your desire. I don't know if Dave Demeline's there. Maybe he can chime in. Maybe he's gone.
He's on.
But
he's on.
It's our service guys that asked for suspension on it because we're not under contract. So that would be the reason for that, and the reason for the I wouldn't say delaying it, but the hard work that Brian Blum and the service guys made on the GIS decisions took time.
Okay. Dave, you got a comment?
Yeah, no, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, the mayor is correct. We're basically adding additional services to accompany the upcoming GIS system. So our contract price went from $12,000 annually to $16,500. So we knew it was coming. We weren't delaying it. Because of the new services, it took a while. We interviewed several consulting firms for the GIS system and things like that. So it took a while just to navigate through everything with COVID and everything like that. So we certainly knew it was coming. It is something that we use. We've been using since, like the mayor said, 2016. It's a valuable service for us and for our residents.
Ms. Heeman, you got another comment?
I do, and I apologize for not having the exhibit in front of me. What is the term of the contract, the length, and the release clauses? Could someone tell me? And I apologize, I didn't have that here to read.
It's a 1-year contract. This contract comes up annually, but because it was never that big of a contract, it would be done through a purchase order. This is where we combine the contracts, and so that's why it's going through you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't think, and Mayor and Mr. Chair, I don't think that the issue is that, it's the amount of money or that now it's increased a little bit or it's not valuable. I think that the issue seems to be that there seems to be through Munis and iWork some duplicative and or, components that don't make sense to a lot of us. And so that is the subject matter of this memo, Mr. Schuman. And that's why I guess I brought it up. It's 13 items of Munis costs us a lot of money. This is now growing as an amount, not that it's, over the top, okay? And not that it's not useful. It seems like this is the better product perhaps, but we don't really know any of those things. And we didn't get the responses to know what one product is over the other and what their value is or isn't to us, and which has more value, perhaps. Thank you.
Okay. President Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just wanted to clarify that the memo did request the information from the administration, but that the administration had been given until the date of January 13th because of the holidays that we had just come off of, so that people would have enough time to respond fully to all of council's questions. So the due date for those answers is next week. Thank you.
And Mr. Chair, if I could add, I think from a service wastewater treatment plant, I think we've answered all the questions. We just need to get them to you and combine them with the finance department. So we're on top.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead,
we're almost done from the Munis perspective too. I just have to review and make sure it's all inclusive, but we've been working on that as well.
Is there any issue with us just not voting on this evening? We can move it out of committee and we'll have the stuff in front of council members before our next meeting. Would that be all right, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I think that's fine with me. Dave, is there any issue with that? I mean, real issue?
Like I said, Mayor, no, we have a standing relationship with them. If it needs to wait, I completely understand. Like I said, I don't think iWork's going to we're a valid customer of theirs. If council sees fit, I have no problem with that. Thank you.
Well, let's just handle it that way then. Ms. Seaman, you got something else?
I do. So I want to know, to be clear, are we just going to get the information and continue to let this go through? It's 3 readings or perhaps suspension on, the next reading. But are you intending to have a committee meeting to address the answers to the questions? Is my question to you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Well, it's up to committee, I would think. President Jones?
Well, you're the chair.
President Jones?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It was my intention to have a committee of the whole meeting regarding this issue. And absolutely, I would schedule that when the administration gets us those answers, then we can schedule that meeting right away. And seeing as how the service department is, waiting to use this software, obviously, it would be my intention then to have that meeting straight away.
So you're going to have this meeting like next week and then,
Mr. Chairman, I would work with our council clerk to make sure that it would be either, if all the information has come to us before next Tuesday, we could absolutely add that to our committee meeting schedule, or we could meet before our regularly scheduled council meeting on the 19th as well, so that council would be able to make a full decision regarding any votes that they may have.
all right, well, we can just hold this in committee if that would be committee's pleasure. Mr. Kelly, you got a comment on it? Mr. Broussard?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Broussard first, then the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I think unless there's any dire consequences that I'm not realizing, I think we should probably hold it in committee.
That's fine. Okay, Mr. Mayor, you got something else you wanted to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and make a motion that we hold 2021-58 in committee and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3-0 to hold it in committee. And that concludes my meeting. Thank you.